I'm Christopher Cruz. President Trump says he wants the remaining documents from the investigation into the assassination of President Kennedy to be released. In a tweet this morning, he wrote, "Subject to the receipt of further information, I will be allowing, as president, the long-blocked and classified JFK files to be opened." Historian Douglas Brinkley this morning.
The conspiracy theories are thick, and hopefully these new documents will show intelligence that was gathered for the Warren Commission and beyond, that'll put to rest some of these odious theories.
In 1992, Congress ordered 3,000 never publicly seen government documents to be released by October 26th. A nasty dispute continues between the Trump administration and Florida Democratic Congresswoman Frederica Wilson. Wilson this week criticized the president's condolence call to the widow of a fallen soldier. The White House is now defending the president's chief of staff, John Kelly, even after he mischaracterized remarks Wilson made in 2015. Press Secretary Sarah Sanders.
General Kelly said he was stunned that Representative Wilson made comments at a building dedication honoring slain FBI agents about her own actions in Congress, including lobbying former President Obama on legislation. As General Kelly pointed out, if you're able to make a sacred act like honoring American heroes all about yourself, you're an empty barrel. If you don't understand that reference, I'll put it a little more simply. As we say in the South, all hat, no cattle.
The Houston Astros aren't going down without a fight. Justin Verlander fired 7 shutout innings as the Astros beat the Yankees 7-1 in Game 6 of the American League Championship Series, deciding Game 7 today in Houston. A celestial light show tonight. The Orionid meteor shower lights up the sky. The shooting stars are fragments of the famous Halley's Comet. I'm Christopher Cruz.
You're listening to Chicago's only independent progressive talk station, 820 AM WCPT Willow Springs and 92.5 WCPT FM DeKalb, Chicago's progressive talk.
Unlike you and unlike the media, before I make a statement, I like to know the facts.
I'll give $1,000 to Donald Trump's campaign if he can tell me one thing about Stonewall Jackson outside of Stonewall Jackson's name. He can't without looking it up, and he never looks anything up because facts and words don't matter to him.
WCPT 820, where facts matter.
This is WCPT's Art of the City. We let you know what's happening in the theater, music, and visual arts. Coming up on Thursday, October 26th, from 5 to 9 p.m., the Lakeview Chamber of Commerce presents Octopus's Graveyard at the Southport Plaza. Celebrate the Year of Public Art in Lakeview with Octopus's Graveyard, an original site-specific art installation on display for one night only. The multimedia experience, curated by a team of local artists, will combine projection mapping and other illuminated works of art to magically transform the Southport Plaza beneath the auxiliary exit of the Southport CTA Brown Line station into an underwater adventure inspired by the Beatles' iconic song, Octopus's Garden. Enjoy live music, local food, and craft beer. Also featuring the reveal of the Southport Art Panels, a permanent fixture coming to the Southport Plaza that will showcase original works by local artists, exhibiting on 4 massive canvases that are on display year-round. For more information, go to lakeviewchamber.com.
Loans are made by WebBank. Rates and terms vary based on credit history. Amazon is not a sponsor of this promotion. Other restrictions apply. See website for details.
I was making great progress on building my savings, but then I get hit with an unexpected car repair bill.
Keeping a close eye on my credit score allowed me to buy my first house, but an unexpected medical emergency set me back.
When the unexpected happened, Avant was there to help. If you need to borrow $2,000 to $35,000, try Avant. It's fast, simple, and transparent.
Everything is done online. There are no prepayment fees, and no collateral is required. And you can instantly check your rate with no impact to your credit score.
Over 500,000 customers have experienced the convenience of a loan through Avant. No wonder Avant has an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. And now, Avant will give you a $50 Amazon.com gift card after your first payment is made on time. To check your rates and to get this special radio offer, go to Avant.com today and enter promo code 4141 when applying. That's AVANT.com, promo code 4141. Go to Avant.com today and enter promo code 4141.
Every single one of his medical bills, everything is just all taken care of.
We have phenomenal research, outstanding clinical care, and the generosity of public, which allow us to treat patients regardless of what it takes.
At St. Jude, families never receive a bill for treatment, travel, housing, or food, because the only thing a family should worry about is helping their child live.
Because of you.
Gracias a ti. Because of you.
There is St.
Hi, I'm Queen Latifah. My mom has always been my rock. She's stronger than anyone I've ever known. Growing up when life got hard, her strength helped pull us through. And now, as she's managing heart failure, her strength once again shines.
The American Heart Association wants everyone to experience more of life's precious moments. 1 in 5 Americans will be diagnosed with heart failure, a serious life-threatening condition. But it doesn't have to steal your hope and strength.
To me, strength is hope. If I don't stay strong, it's like I'm giving up on hope. I have too much to live for. My family, my students, my friends, they're my reason for living a healthier, longer life. Together, we're rising above heart failure.
Learn simple changes you can make to help prevent, improve, or manage the condition at riseabovehf.org.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum. Things are going to start happening to me now.
Live exclusively for WCPT AM and FM in Chicago and streaming worldwide at chicagosprogressivetalk.com. Standing up and speaking out, here's Hal Sparks.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
To do the vibes.
Not on. Oh, there I am. Hi. I'm live. All right, here we are. Okay. This is very exciting for people. Hi, chat room. Hi, Lady B. Hi, Johnny Million. I'm in studio in Chicago. I can't believe it.
And where were you last night, Hal?
I was in Hagerstown, Maryland.
Which makes perfect sense.
Hagerstown.
It's a short commute.
Yes, right. Well, I was flying through. There's a lot of connecting flights from some of the crappy little towns I play, and not Hagerstown's not a crappy little town. It's actually quite nice. It's very historic, but it's not one. It's one of those where it doesn't have its own airport that you're going to get where you're going, especially if you're going all the way to the West Coast or whatever. So what I did instead of doing it just, every flight was going through Chicago, and I was like, why don't I just stay for a while and do the show from there? So, ta-da, here we are. I can't believe it. So exciting. And Lady B is here with us, and I was so happy to see her.
Surprised her.
That's right.
And she didn't even wear her glasses. What are you doing?
Yeah. You didn't let Hal see your glasses. You always wear your glasses up when Hal shows up. What, isn't it just me? You don't wear glasses? Oh, I see how it is.
The show goes a little better when she can see what she's doing.
Really? Is that what it is? I thought it was just me the whole time screwing up all my tech.
No, I love to throw blame around. I, of course, am blameless.
That's right. Yeah. It's not your fault. You don't know how anything works. You're just over here behind your little blue fluffy microphone.
That's right. And when you drop out, I'm just like, I'm always ready with the banter. Hey, I bet you were wondering what Hal's about to say.
Oh, me too.
Me too.
I was fascinated.
He was really on a roll.
Well, today we don't have to deal with that because I'm here. And it could not be easier, and everybody in the chat room is saying hi, and everybody's saying, oh, my gosh, he's in Chicago. It's very exciting. I want to be in Chicago, too. No technical problems in here in Chicago today, says Carl. That's right. Bless you, Carl. Thanks, Mark. Oh, and welcome to Chi-Town. There's some people who are from Chicago in the chat room as well.
That's not Nashville, Carl, it's a different
No,
Carl?
It's a different one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Carl is somebody who I met years ago. Actually, I think the first time I met him was at a Sexy Liberal show or whatever.
Okay.
But then he and his wife come to shows and have come to shows repeatedly over the years. Awesome. One of the he and Julie are now kind of being our troll watchers in the chat, so they get to broom people out. I gave them the power.
I know Julie and I are Twitter pals, but I don't know if Carl and I are.
I recommend it.
Okay.
Carl's he's a good follow.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So anyways, here we are in the studio, which is very exciting. And, I wanted, obviously the story of the week is twofold, if not thricefold. The primary one is that, and I want to get this out of the way right away. The timeline of the Trump, Kelly, Wilson mashup that went, okay, so this started, the idea is right now is that the mainstream media will not allow the story to die. It won't allow it to let it go, and crazy, wacky Wilson is ruining the Democratic Party, that whole business, right? Okay, so let's be abundantly clear. It was almost 12 days since 4 soldiers were killed in Niger, and the White House hadn't said anything.
Mm-hmm.
They had not made a statement about the deaths of the soldiers. And there was, I and other people on Twitter were kind of, retweeting this. Hey, it's been 5 days. It's been 6 days.
Yeah.
It's been 10 days now. What the heck? They haven't all they have to do is go, we lost some, we don't have to tell you about it because it might be
classified.
Classified, whatever the information is. I think we're all cool with it as long as you're kind of giving them the honor due and saying, we can't, there's an investigation and it's classified. What they were doing, and we don't want people to know where the other soldiers that they're working with are, all that. So, but we will say they died defending their country. They're heroes. We respect them, and we love them, and our hearts and prayers and feelings go out. Super easy.
Done.
I mean, this is so easy if you have any kind of humanity about you in your regular day-to-day life. Like
or anybody in your staff who knows how to make a play.
Right.
Like anybody could go, you know what we should do?
Yeah, here, Mr. President, this is classically the quality thing to do as a human being.
Right, we'll get out of this no muss, no fuss.
Yeah, right. Even if you have no feelings, you can at least be selfish, right? You can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was talking to Lady B before the show. I was like, how stupid do you have to be to fumble this? Because everyone's natural inclination, for the most part, is to honor the fallen when it happens. It's not, nobody goes, why are you saying that? There's no attack on it. There's
people you like, people you don't like.
There's zero pushback.
Yep.
It is a very simple process to go through. So 12 days pass, nothing. Finally, he gets asked in this, weird presser that he's doing, and out of nowhere, this, he gets asked a normal question, which is, what happened in Niger? How did these, why has there been no statement about it?
Why haven't you said anything about that?
Yes, and it's not, why didn't you call the family? It is not, why did you not reach out to the family? Because for all the reporter knew, he had. Right, nobody cared at that point.
Yeah.
It was about the actual action report, and we lost 4 soldiers. What happened?
Yep.
So, and remember, the last time we lost soldiers, Trump went, our generals lost them. Remember, he
I don't even remember that.
this was earlier this year. He blamed it on the generals.
Nice.
He didn't say we as a country lost soldiers. He said the generals lost them. And then I don't even know these guys, and I know more about them than ISIS, anyways. The guys I know more about ISIS than they lost a soldier, and it's not my fault. That was effectively okay. So it's not surprising that he was going to distance himself from any causality or or correlation between his policies and what happened, if he has any indeed. He's basically rubber stamping the actions that were put in place by the Obama administration, right? So, and has continued to do so. That's the ISIS plan that we're running right now, that we've been running in Raqqa and in Mosul, was put in place last year. Raqqa. And so anyway, they ask him, why haven't we heard about what's going on there? And he, instead of going, well, it's classified and we're very sorry, and I was gonna wait until after the funerals to make a statement because of and again, even if you're saying I haven't called them yet, I haven't contacted them yet, you could literally just say, even if it's not true. And I hate helping people lie well.
You've done this before.
But at least to not hurt their feelings.
Yeah.
Like, at least people know the ability to white lie your way out so you're not hurting someone. Like, how simple. Of course, that's clearly not a skill set this man
They need a
cultivated.
former liberal there, is what they need.
Yes.
Somebody who knows how to fake empathy.
Right. That's right. And so he goes, I didn't call him, but, a lot of people haven't called him. Obama didn't make calls.
And really, it's the hardest part for me.
It's the hardest part for me to go through.
And that's the first thing he said.
Oh, God. So first of all, Obama did call them, did write letters. Rumsfeld got into big trouble for auto-signing these things. Like, I'm like, who do you think you are, a mortgage banker at Citibank?
Yeah.
A robo-signing fake contracts?
Yeah, and it was like an unsanctioned RoboPen, wasn't it? It was like one he bought himself.
Yeah, and, oh, God. So Trump goes, I didn't call him, but nobody calls him. I do call him. I'm going to call him because I call them, but Obama didn't call them.
Yeah.
And he immediately gets pushback, like, Of course he called them, sir. How can you say that? And he goes, well, I heard that. Okay, well, where did he hear it from?
When these lies funnel through him, it's a way for him to avoid owning anything. He just says, I heard that, whether he invented it or not.
Let's take a break, and I want people to put a pin in it for a moment. I heard that Obama didn't make calls.
Lots of people are saying.
Yeah, but there's a very specific person he heard it from. And we'll talk about that when we come back and continue the timeline or whatever. But it all started with him not talking about what happened in Niger, and diverting to I'm better at dealing with dead soldiers and more honorable than my predecessor, especially Obama, but everybody else too, because the presidency started with me. We'll be back. It's the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide on WCPT Radio, live from Chicago. Hot damn.
Tune in this Sunday for Tavis Smiley on WCPT 820.
Coming up on the next Tavis Smiley Show from PRI, we're rebroadcasting some favorite conversations. Former Democratic Senator for Wisconsin Russ Feingold reflects on the legacy of 9/11. Activist Dolores Huerta discusses a documentary about her life called Dolores. And David Crosby on his new album, Sky Trails. On the next Tavis Smiley Show from PRI.
Sundays at 3 on Chicago's Progressive Talk. What's Left with Brandon Johnson.
You can't buy the politician. I just believe that your vote means very little, but they're for sale.
But your argument is that the only way we actually get politics to behave responsibly in our neighborhoods is if we raise enough money to be able to purchase them ourselves. You're asking poor people to raise enough money to compete with
Now, could be, who knows? That's something that right away. Mic check. Hey, I'm trying to work on it. Yes, you can hear me now? Yay. All right. Sweet. Okay, I just have to remember to switch back to the regular mic when we're coming back. But yeah. Yes, the audio is fab. Cool. Okay, that's just from the mic on the laptop. So I'll switch back and forth to our mics for radio when we get back in, so you can hear Johnny just as well and all that stuff. And hi, and thank you so much for the super chat, Julie. That's awesome. And thank you, Billy. The troll the Johnny Million Troll Be Gone Fund. That's his fee for not letting whatever that regular troll that's been annoying everybody through. How much time?
Beyond now.
Oh, look at that. We're back.
And you're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT.
Welcome back. So, yeah. In case you're only you're listening, you don't know that you can watch on at halsparks.tv. Your headphones are falling. This is what happens when Johnny headbangs. He's got a Kiss Alive 2 shirt on. He wore it because he knew I was going to be here today. Yes. And the Kiss Alive pictures, we were just saying, that has 3 of my favorite Kiss pictures on it. Everybody but Peter. The Gene picture, like the Ace, the Paul, all of them. Just magic photos. Yep. Just
perfection.
Just 70s and a slightly Saw-like horror film, and then Peter apparently is like, "What time's the photo shoot?" Like, we're already shooting, dummy. All right. So putting a pin in.
Right.
Where did he hear that nobody makes calls? Well, we'll find out from Kelly's response later on that it was actually from General Kelly. Kelly told him that he didn't receive a call specifically from Obama, even though Michelle Obama invited them to a breakfast. His wife went. She sat with her at this thing and personally spoke with his wife. So, I mean, maybe they'd rather have a phone call because that's why you work for Trump, because you can't stand Obama and you have this pathological hatred for him. Maybe that's the deal. Maybe that's why you got a letter instead of a phone call, because you knew it wouldn't be well received and it would upset you. And he knew that about you and was like, here, I'm going to send a letter that they can, they got a letter from the president and it's an honorable thing, and I'll write my own personal note, but I'm not going to call this guy because this guy's got a chip on his shoulder about me, which apparently plays out in how he reacts to Representative Wilson. So Trump says, I don't know. I first of all, I'm going to say categorically that Obama didn't make phone calls, and then I'm going to say, well, I don't know, maybe he made some phone calls. I don't know. That's what I heard, which is like the most infantile teenage garbage to say.
And how hard does it stick when he says the first thing? Does anybody hear the second thing who wants to hear it?
That's right, and vice versa. Does anybody who knows that that's a lie take anything seriously? Like at this point, it's kind of like there's a Trump tweet for everything. Yeah. Whatever he's criticizing Obama or the current.
Yeah, in 2014, he said the opposite.
He said the exact opposite. He was attacking generals left and right. And all right. So after this thing comes out, okay, so he comes out and says, I wrote letters and they're going out tonight. And then we find out, by the way, in the same vein, that he promised $25,000 to a Gold Star father, and didn't send it. And then basically when they were called on it, the check's in the mail that night. Yeah. And this was June when he told this man this. So this idea,
he didn't have to offer it. I mean, it was a generous offer, but it's just like one of a million empty promises.
That's right. And the only reason he had followed through is because the fake news called me on it. Yeah. Fake news said I didn't send it.
Well, and how many charity tracker things have happened where he said, I gave X amount, and then they can find no evidence of the Trump Foundation?
Or the Trump Foundation got money from somebody else and gave it in Donald Trump's name. So there's tons of situations where it comes from the Trump Foundation, but it's really just they're a funnel, which, by the way, is how some foundations work.
Sure.
It's how the Clinton Foundation works, which is exactly why it's BS that people are like, the Clinton Foundation should give back Harvey Weinstein's money. No, why? So he can defend himself in court with it?
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind?
They took a dirtbag's money and used it for good.
Yeah, and used it for HIV research and to feed people. I just picture this person who hasn't eaten in 2 days, this sandwich going up to their mouth and somebody snatches it out of them. No. We're going to sell that back to somebody else. We have to give the $3 back to Harvey Weinstein. So anyways, Trump says this, just decides out of nowhere, appertaining to nothing, to attack Obama, saying that he didn't make phone calls when he clearly did. Then there's this, this pushback because Representative Wilson was he finally makes the calls late. And then when he's making the calls, she's on speakerphone. She's holding her phone up, and the whole car heard it.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was a secret call.
Yeah, it was a secret call, which, by the way, everybody in Trump's office was listening to. Yeah. It was secret on one side. It was secret to the mother, to the wife rather, but Representative Wilson being in the car, that was a violation of that sacred moment. But apparently there were 9 people in Trump's office listening. What I don't understand, was it just General Kelly writing down exactly what he was supposed to say on a cue card and holding it up? Someone else writing down that he did say it, and the rest of them just took turns patting him on the back for doing it.
He has proof.
Yeah,
he has proof that's not what he said. He has proof.
Right. Which, okay. So she says, I overheard it. He said this is what he signed up for. It was very callous, very cold.
Sarcastic.
It was disrespectful. The family felt disrespected. And then he goes, that's not what I said at all. Yep. It gets cut, and it's one of his arms crossed moments. If you notice, his arms have been crossed a lot lately.
Yeah, oh man, his body language.
Miserable.
His body language is like For somebody who thinks that they can negotiate, an infant can read his tells.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is like the rejected pilot script for Criminal Minds. Like, that guy looks too guilty right away.
Yeah.
But he's got his arms crossed and he's sitting back in this like, no, it's not what I said. She lied. And you'll notice she's not even saying what she said because she knows she got caught in a lie. That's his call. Okay. So nobody bought that. He's like, and I have proof. And then the family and Representative Wilson comes out and says, no, that's what he said.
Yeah.
And so they send out General Kelly. And General Kelly confirms that Trump is lying. He says, I told him to say this is what he signed up for. I told him to say he knew this was part of the job. I told him this because this is what an army friend of mine or a military friend of mine said to me when my son died. And military to military, I understand how that could be exactly what a military dad would want to hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just like you, just like your grandfather, just like him, like this is what he signed up for and he knew it. And that's what's great about your son.
Right.
And I can understand how that would be something that General Kelly would want to hear about his son. I don't know that it certainly didn't seem to be what the wife of a fallen soldier wanted to hear.
Not from him, anyway.
No. And certainly, if she wanted to hear anything, it seems like you just want to hear he did his country a great service and he was a hero. Not, well, you get what you pay for, which it sounds like a used car salesman going, look, you knew this car. You weren't buying a new car, lady. Like, it felt like that, apparently, to them, and they felt disrespected. So Kelly comes out. Trump says, nope, I didn't say that. It was a lie. That was a lie. She's lying about what I said. Then Kelly comes out and goes, nope, not only is that what he said, that's what I told him to say, and he said it. And that's what he should have said, and it was okay that he said it. And it was.
So it's not even doubling down because at first he said it was all a lie.
Yeah, Trump lied, and Kelly proved that he was lying. That's the weirdest part of this whole thing, is that when they sent out Kelly didn't say, the president, I'm not going to comment. And again, this is so easy. All you have to do is go out, I'm not going to comment on what the president said, but I am going to say that it was completely respectful. Right. And I, as a Gold Star father, I heard what he said, and I don't have a problem with Representative Wilson being a family friend, being in that position. If she overheard that, and if she misunderstood that, then I think that's her taking, her opinion of us and not listening to what was really said. Right. Like, again, this is softball, kids. Yep. This is super easy. And not only does he not do that, not only does he not back the president.
They could have made her look really bad. They could have made her look really petty.
Right. And what he did, he came out and whiffed it. He totally came out. And then he says, Trump is lying about what he said. I told him to say that, and he actually said it. And then it takes a turn for the stupid. This is the magic part.
Why did you look at me so directly when you said stupid?
You know. Well, I'm not going to look at Lady B. She doesn't deserve it by any stretch.
No,
you and I were in high school together.
Yes,
There's any number of reasons both of both of us could look at each other and go, that was stupid.
That was really
It was stupid. Okay, so General Kelly's standing up there. He could have solved this simply. And again, he's the White House chief of staff. He's in charge of messaging in and out of this White House. He's not just responsible for how the kind of coordinated message will be, along with the press sec and the director of communications and whatever that weird puppet master tweeter that tweets half of what Trump tweets, right? He's responsible for making sure that the dummies don't talk to Trump.
Right.
And screw up his brain pan for the day and ruin the whole strategy.
5 minutes before whatever he's about to do, you can derail everything.
That's right. And so Kelly was there to kind of keep him on track, right? So Kelly comes out there, again, super simple solve. He could have done this really easy. Not going to comment on what the president said, but as a Gold Star father, I thought it was very respectful. I heard the call. I don't have a problem with Representative Wilson. I just disagree with what she said. Right. We never meant for this to be, this attack. We honor our Gold Star family. That end of story. Thanks very much. Goodbye. Walk off the stage. Don't take any questions. End of story. But he didn't. He pulls this weird story about this FBI building appertaining to nothing. This is not relating. I mean, I guess tacitly you could say the fallen soldier aspect of it because they're renaming the building after two fallen FBI agents. When we come back, I want to discuss this because he didn't have to go there.
And is that what he heard? Like we know what she said because there's video. Is that what he heard? Is that where his brain is?
Or is he just misremembering, or is he just assuming what she meant, or was he selectively listening? Yeah, we'll take a break. We'll be back. It's the House Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
The Ben Joravsky Show.
With me in the studio.
Dee Snider.
Wait, can you guys hear us okay? I think we'll be back, yeah.
Did you hear that? I got to get my coffee. Did you hear that Dee Snider told Kevin Dubrow that he wrote, "We're not going to take it to be just like Come On Feel the Noise"? He wanted to, like, bandwagon on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know Come On Feel the Noise isn't a Quiet Riot song?
Yeah,
it's a Slade song.
Yeah.
So I feel bad for Kevin Dubrow right now.
Right.
Like, dude, I totally copped your song.
Yeah.
Like, not her song.
Yeah, and remember when Kevin Dubrow was like, "Yeah, we don't even like Slade," and he sounds exactly
like Slade.
I don't understand that at all. What's he?
I don't know.
He'd be a trumper right now.
I'm trying to talk the band into dressing as Slade for Halloween. We have a Halloween. We have a Halloween gig.
And they dress awesome.
They do with the big nuns have it with the big silver circles on it. Like, oh my God.
And everything.
Yeah.
You can do anything.
Exactly.
We have Wally, who's watching us through WCPT Facebook.
Oh, nice.
Says hi.
Hi, Wally.
And also Ruthie.
Wally and Ruthie.
Yeah.
You don't have your glasses on, Lady B.
So they can hear us in the chat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know that orange vein that hangs out of the end of your wiener?
No. I got mine fixed. You were supposed to get yours fixed.
I was going to say, where's your yes and?
I'm yes-anding the crowd.
No.
I'm yes-anding. Like, I learned improv at Second City. No.
We got some Carl from Nashville.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. Joe from Chicago.
Good morning. Hey, Tom. How are you? Good to see you.
Florida.
Hang on.
Do we like Robert from
Can
Florida?
I make the volume when it's broadcasting as loud as it is now? I think so. I think I can turn it up. Yeah. I'll bring it up in this
Is that
part.
Freedom Rock?
We'll turn it up, man. Absolutely. These guys are like Garth and or Wayne or maybe Beavis and Butthead. It's a good mix.
We've gotten that before. We have totally gotten that before.
Yeah.
Which?
Donald Jr. and Eric.
Oh, I thought it meant me and you.
Huh?
I thought they were talking about
They
me
were,
and you.
but I'm just saying, like, every time I think of Beavis and Butthead now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they look so frightening.
Oh, God.
I don't care what your hairline looks like that. Nobody can use, like, that much pomade and look right.
Oh, okay.
It
No.
looks horrible.
Mm.
And I don't know if it's their hairline.
Yeah. I just thought,
I don't even know what they sound like.
Like Don Jr.'s got this kind of broy, like, yeah, it was nothing. We just a couple things, you know. It was nothing. It was no big deal, and it was no collusion, and everything was. We didn't do any of that. I mean, we're all new to this. You know, I'm in the middle of this thing. This is a big, you know, thing going on. I'm in the middle of. I've never done a campaign before. We're all new to this, and I want the information. So I'm gonna get the information.
Oh, that's the email thing, yeah.
I'm gonna get the information. So that was it. There was no collusion, and there was a word he kept looking. He had written on paper. I mean, he had notes. Hannity was supposed to slow walk him through this.
10 seconds.
Yeah, that's another conversation for another day. All right, here we go.
10 seconds. 10 seconds of love.
Now back to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide, 773-763-9278.
We're just reliving the moment.
That's right.
In high school, because we did this song.
We did.
In our band. Yeah. So, all right. So Kelly comes out, makes a big deal out of this story of the that appertaining to nothing. Now, okay,
aspartame to nothing.
Aspartame to nothing. So Representative Wilson, he tells the story. If you listen to him, it sounds like cliche black woman stands up church style in crowd and starts talking about herself. I mean, listen to how he tells that story. Do we have the clip of him saying the FBI story, Lady B? I think we gathered a piece of it. Let's see if we can find that piece. Because listen how he,
memorial speech to those fallen men and to all of the men and women of the FBI who serve our country so well and law enforcement so well. There were family members there. Some of the children that were there were only 3 or 4 years old when their dads
were killed. This is him painting her as a monster
on that street in Miami-Dade. 3 of the men that survived the fight were there and gave a rendition of how brave those men were and how they gave their lives. And a congresswoman stood up, and in the long tradition of empty barrels making the most noise, stood up there and all of that and talked about
that's not you.
How she was instrumental in getting the funding for that building and how she took care of her constituents because she got the money, and she just called up President Obama, and on that phone call he gave the money, the $20 million to build the building. And she sat down, and we were stunned that she'd done it.
Yeah,
even for someone that is that empty a barrel.
He uses that phrase twice on her. Okay, so understand something. That's not at all what she said. You can watch the whole speech, but the
attention, politicians.
Yeah,
everything is recorded.
Yeah.
When you're talking into microphones, that's a dead giveaway.
Yeah, if you're behind a podium, especially at an FBI event,
right?
Like, this is not something where it's like, oh, this is to donors or some abstract small, gathering.
So the local news went into its database and went,
oh yeah, there it is.
FBI. Oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, right. And so, okay.
Oh, is this in HD? I think it is.
There's a couple of really troubling points in his description of it. Not just the fact that he gets it completely backwards. He opens with how Jim Comey told this, rousing, wonderful, supportive of not just the FBI, but of all law enforcement. That's what she actually said.
Right.
If you listen to her speech, she actually said, we want to honor all these law enforcement. We love you for, stand up, let us honor you. Everyone who's, an FBI, but everyone, first responders. Like, she went across the board.
He also said law enforcement. Is he a New York guy?
I don't know if he's Boston or something like that, because he says North a lot, too. Like, he's
Lauren North?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even... Either way. So...
Kelly, please.
Yeah, right. So he's standing up there.
Thank you, babe.
Yeah. So he tells this story. Okay, Comey told this this wonderful, rousing speech.
Tall and white.
Right? Oh, he is. Very tall and extraordinarily white.
That's how people describe me.
That's right. Well, you're cut from the same cloth, you and James Comey. You both are in general good people who often say the wrong thing at the wrong time. I think that's pretty much
the wrong thing at the right time.
That's
really.
right, dead on. Yeah, that's true. There is no right time to say a wrong thing or a wrong time to say the right thing. Anyways, or vice versa. So Comey says this wonderful speech. And then
there were children there.
And there were children present and living
family members.
And people who survived this. And this woman stands up like she was in the crowd, not like she was one of the featured speakers.
She was standing next to
the congressperson that represents the district that this building is in.
The picture I saw, everybody was standing.
Yes. She took the podium as part of the program. How does he tell it? She stands up like she's like, hold on a second. You know what I mean? Can
I just tell y'all how this is all about me?
Wait one moment, all right?
Well, you do the handshake really well.
Look at my cowboy hat for a second. Like this whole, honestly.
I do take issue with her cowboy hat. I'm not a fan.
It bothers me when Bret Michaels wears it, so I think in all fairness, same thing.
Yes, yeah, it's exactly the same level of it bothers me.
Okay, so that being said, but she wears one because her grandmother wore one all the time. She loves
really?
hats. That's why she does it.
God
yeah. Okay. So see, you thought you were just criticizing some form of random
Yeah,
fashion.
and it's a friggin'
and it's
tribute.
It's a tribute, right? Yeah. See how awful you are. Again, you and Comey have so much in common. So now you're sharing more with General John Kelly. So
Can you smell that I crapped myself just now?
No.
Thank goodness.
Yes. So ultimately, she just in fear. The magic word is had. So he stands up, and he says she stands up, appertaining to nothing. In his retelling, she interrupts what's going on. Like
we were all
Comey
stunned.
is trying to walk off stage while everyone is crying, and he's just raised everyone to this new heights.
You're amplifying this only a little.
Yeah.
Because it really is the vibe he was trying to get across.
And the children of the fallen were there, and the survivors were there, and the family was there, and this woman stands up and starts patting herself on the back for getting the funding for this building because she just calls up Obama, black to black, right? That's what she's. The implications are just threaded through this whole thing, and so, and either he's so blind and just callous to this, or it's on purpose. There isn't another explanation.
No, he's either terminally ignorant as to how he sounds.
Yeah. Or he's meaning to say
or he's an
And
awful,
judging from his women were
person.
sacred, there was a time when things were sacred in this country argument. I'm guessing it's the
He meant to do
yeah,
it.
yeah. So she stands up and says, "I got the 20. I called Obama, and I got what? Like he's telling. This is how he's telling it. Like you're supposed to, because understand at this point we have not heard her kind of speak on the issue, and we haven't seen her speech, right?
No.
And so he's presenting this in true form. This is how he remembers her, and then she sits down, and we were all stunned. How dare this woman?
Give this 3 hours for the news teams to find the tape.
Right. First of all, the woman was not even in Congress when the building was funded.
Right.
Let's just start there. The baseline of it is, and what she and who she called, allegedly, the thing that she did do, which was help get the bill moved through quicker so they could name the building.
Yeah, it was all about what she did was instrumental in naming the building, right?
Now, this is, I can understand how he's confused because it is another person of color. It's just an orangish brown color, John Boehner. So she calls Boehner. It wasn't Obama that she called and got a favor and got this pushed through. It was a bipartisan phone call. She called Boehner and said, "We need your help. America needs your help. The FBI needs your help. Please get this out of committee." And he did. She goes, he went into attack mode. She complimented Boehner. And they had a bipartisan vote on it, and it happened immediately. Because who in the Congress wouldn't want this?
Right.
Was her point. And her point was, I applaud the Speaker and all the members of the House.
And we're all honoring the people. We're all on the same side right now.
The speech he thinks Comey gave, she gave. For God's sake. I mean, it's so infuriating.
This is when I get sad.
Why?
Why?
No. Because, no.
It's hard for me to stay angry. I get sad, Hal.
Oh, no. Anger is the emotion that's above sadness. You got to better stay angry. Stay angry. Anger, yeah, you got to.
I think it's easier to be sad after I've crapped my pants.
Yeah, well, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Too much
So
coffee.
I'm going to clean up during the break.
Okay, good. All right. I think that's wise.
Yeah.
It's a scary world.
It is.
So the reality is, the story that John Kelly told was a complete fabrication. It was intentionally shored up to be to villainize this woman, villainize Representative
Mission
Wilson.
accomplished.
Yeah,
It was all the raw meat the base needed.
Right.
I knew it.
And so the ferocity with which he went after her. Well, then, I jumped right on Twitter and was like, first of all, Kelly confirmed that Trump was lying. Let's just what Kelly did first, to quote Anthony Hopkins and Silence of the Lambs. Read Marcus Aurelius. What is the thing in and of itself, right? What is it? What he ultimately did, more than anything else, even without all his, like fluffy racist flailing about, was that he confirmed that Representative Wilson was telling the truth about what Trump said on the phone call.
But we're also used to Trump lying. It doesn't even get traction.
Right. And then after doing that, after Kelly basically confirms that Trump is lying, he then goes
attacks a black lady.
Attacks a black congresswoman who is a family friend of one of the fallen soldiers and was in that car with them because she knows them, because she was principal of the high school that his father went to, because this soldier went through this.
What happened?
What happened? What do you mean?
I heard fade out music.
We're getting there. We're gonna take a break.
And then it stopped.
No.
That's what happens when the fade out gives up.
Oh, you get.
I need to clean myself.
Yes, you're very afraid. I know. You need to go.
Looking forward to this.
I know. So when we come back, we'll take some calls. But I wanted to get that timeline right. And then after the so he lies. Then the press comes out and says, okay, what he said was not only confirmed that Trump was lying, but also what Kelly said about Representative Wilson was a lie. It was a massive fabrication meant to make her look bad on
red letter
purpose.
Day. Yep.
And what's the president's response to this? The press keeps talking about this. They won't let it go. And Sarah Huckabee Sanders, you know what the problem is? You shouldn't question a general. We'll be back. We're going to take some calls, 773-763-9278. And, of course, in the chat room, go to houseparks.tv, like and subscribe on the YouTube page. That always helps us out. And right now we're on the WCPT Facebook page as well. But we're in the studio, and it's awesome.
Of course, I want our kids to eat fresh, healthy foods all the time, but we don't have a supermarket nearby, so...
Hi, chat room. We're here. Yeah, I've done the, at the Jam.
Oh, okay.
Because everybody wants me to do the Cinderella, Kevin Dubrow.
Oh, because you can do the...
Elevator!
Yeah.
I want it louder! Mine's louder!
You found a way to rasp your falsetto?
It's totally easy. It's technically head voice. It's not a falsetto.
What's the difference?
It's that your vocal cords can't be close together for falsetto. They're wide.
Uh-huh. So
once you get them tighter, once it goes to that's technically head voice.
Oh, okay.
Chest voice is but anything above that is head voice. And so you listen to Jeff Tate. He vacillates. His technique is really, and same with Sebastian Bach.
Totally. And Tom Kiefer and Blackie Lawless.
Yeah, they can flip back and forth between head and chest. That's their real talent.
And
it's amazing.
All Joe Elliott can do now is his head voice.
Yeah.
And it sounds a little weird, but he's like hanging in there.
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of times you just get in that channel and it's great.
Yeah.
But you've only got about 5 notes.
Well, for the most part, that guy from TNT really had that.
What's his name from Deep Purple? Glenn
Hughes. Yeah.
He's all head voice, and he's annoying after a while. Like he's
so
good, but he's like,
yeah.
You're like, oh God, man, calm down.
Yeah, that Mark III live concert stuff. It's like, well, you're good, but please
back down a little bit. Give me a break because I'm getting ear fatigue.
Yeah.
I did that event with him where we were raising money for school, like music education.
Oh, nice.
And he just killed it. But it was like you could tell the singers he was on stage with were like, all right, dude,
we get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because how old is he? Is he like 70?
Yeah, he's 80. Almost like 78, something like that.
Oh, my God. He played on Joe Satriani's new album.
Oh.
I'm going to see
He sang on it, or he
just played bass.
Oh.
He's such a good bass player. It's ridiculous.
Whoa. All right.
Yeah.
Look at that. I love that. Hi, chat room. This is what we have. Extremely loud. Hit it again. Oh, sorry.
What, the mic?
No, me singing. Ouchie. Yeah.
Ouchie?
Yeah. Extremely loud. Hit it again. Much louder! Bang your head! Middle of the drive, you're mad! Yeah.
Very nice.
I mean, I can do that for weeks.
Nice.
No fatigue.
I have that voice, but I can't get enough rasp into it.
Oh, I'll show you. I'll teach you.
All right. Dennis.
763-9278.
Welcome back to the show. So let's take some calls because we can, and I'm here, and they're good.
All right. Do we just go in order?
Yeah, sure.
And what about who's this man named Donald Aurora?
Donald Aurora. Donald in Aurora? I'm guessing yes.
Who's going to hit that button?
I'm a veteran.
There he is.
There he is. Hey,
Hi.
Donald Aurora.
Yeah, Donald Aurora. But you know, it's really aggravating. I mean, 4 GIs got killed in Africa, and we don't even know why they're there.
Right.
Or how many more of these bases that we have all over the world that we're not even known about?
Right.
How much are we paying the tax dollars?
then why are we
to keep
putting
these
them on
bases
the,
active? It's
on the
got to
block
be in the
list?
trillions, and how much of that they're taking it off the books? Not only that they're two, but this guy here, he's going to put us in more wars, either in Korea, which is going to be a nuclear war, and then Iran too.
Right.
So this guy here, who's going to pay for all this with all these tax breaks that they're going to have?
Well,
and
that's
the American people, why aren't they screaming about this?
I agree. And here's the thing, and I'm curious what you're feeling about is I think some of our stuff is obviously covert, and it's not all bad. Like there's a lead up to where the Rwandan genocide, had we had a more robust CIA presence or support presence, we could have stopped that. It was one of Clinton's biggest regrets, he said, in office, was that we didn't do more about that. And Chad and Niger both have issues where they have about 8 to 12% of the population is enslaved. There is the issue with Boko Haram has made it even worse. There's categorical wiping out of people, and there's an element where Americans and international forces with the UN and others have had this kind of coordinated effort in places like that. And I'm not against that. And I understand also that sometimes those need to be covert. We don't need to draw attention to them while they're happening because it'll just make them targets. I get that. And this very well, this is all left over from the Obama administration, so I'm way more apt to give him the benefit of the doubt than Donald Trump about this. The problem is Donald Trump seems to think that all the military stuff is his toy box and goes, just send them in. They should wipe out these things. They should start opening fire on people. Like, just roll back the rules of engagement and let's have hot wars everywhere. And that's the concerning point, is that Obama put in these kind of strategic points like, okay, how can we keep, almost like after 9/11 when John Kerry was saying this is ISIS and Al-Qaeda are largely a law enforcement issue. They are basically giant organizations of school shooters that have found a cohesive thought form. They're all the crazies from a bunch of different areas have gotten together and pat each other on the back for being equally as nuts. It's like a crowd of serial killers. It's like Con Air crashed, without Nick Cage aboard. It's like everybody on it is nuts, right? And
you need Nick Cage on that plane.
You do, yeah. Put the bunny down. Anyways, so the point I'm trying to make is that I'm not a knee-jerk against us having covert actions. I'm not knee-jerk against this, but it's why management of it matters so much. Who's in charge? This is why you vote for someone who is not an inserious orange wacko who thinks that the military is now his toy box.
Well, the thing is, you're right about that. But, the covert actions leads us into becoming a world policeman. And this is what I'm getting furious about.
Right.
Because sooner or later, it'll engage to an escalation of conflict.
Right.
I am so fed up with this nonsense. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I wonder how much of this cost of this military is being taken off the budget like Bush and Cheney did.
Yeah.
That way, when the deficit goes up, they'll blame Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid to get rid of that rather than they have to reduce their budget. I'm getting sick and tired of that.
I agree.
And we're lying to us about insurance. They lied to us about drug costs. They lied to us about every single thing, including getting into all these wars. Wake up, America, and get these idiots out. And by the way, put that biscuit in that football in a child-proof cabinet. And not only that, watch closely of his activities while he's in the presidential playpen. They don't seem to be doing that enough. Thank you, Al.
Absolutely. I appreciate the call. We love you when you call in, and especially Johnny looked confused for a second about the football thing. What he means is the nuclear football, put it in lockbox.
I see.
Like,
Right,
like
right.
Al Gore style. What a lockbox. And, apparently
I was
Mattis and
actually
Kelly were like, okay, I'll go for his legs. You hit him up top, and we'll
Right.
both take him down if he tries to reach for the button, because he's slipping. And that's a real concern. If that's true at all, that is the, and we've been close to nuclear annihilation before. Don't get me wrong. We've had fake launches. We've had glitches in computers that made us think the Soviets had launched on us and vice versa. So we've been through this kind of stuff before, but it's why you put people in charge who do have an idea that we want to be around in 50 years and 100 years and 1,000 years. Not these people are like, you know what? I'm just tired of waiting with this stupid thing. This North Korea, we just need to bomb them. I'm tired of waiting around. I don't even want to talk about this. I hate negotiating. I'm such a deal maker, and the worst thing about it is negotiations. So let's just bomb them. Right. So he's absolutely right. Let's do we have?
For Carl?
Yeah, we got another one. Yeah, is it Carl from Nashville?
It is.
Look
Carl
at
from
that.
Nashville.
All right, let's take Carl from Nashville. Hey, Carl.
Well, I tell you, the General Kelly situation, it to me, it made everything crystal clear. And the media has been keep calling this guy the damn grown-up in the White House. And that's just not so.
Yeah.
You don't stand by and watch this racist degenerate in the White House do some of the things that he's done and stand by him.
Right.
And then you're okay with that. You don't let this guy use your son. He used his damn son as a political football, and he's more outraged at the black lady than he is from the idiot that's his boss that used his son.
I agree. And there was one part of this, and I'm curious if you saw this too, is that he described in great detail what it's like when a fallen soldier is brought back to the States, packing them on ice, shipping them to Europe where they are embalmed, put in their dress uniform, dressed with their medals, and then flown back to the States for their thing. Okay. He makes a big show of that's how it goes, and to basically, and then doesn't take questions from anybody that doesn't know a Gold Star family in the reporters.
Right.
The officer in question who was killed, Sergeant Johnson, he had a closed casket. We don't know what happened to him. We don't even know how much of him is in that casket. His body wasn't found for 48 hours. So to make this big
away.
This to make this story about how beautiful they prepare the body and be so tone deaf that the bless you, I think, but to be so tone deaf in that regard that even, and not even to say, some of these soldiers, they have to have closed caskets because what they've been through. This is to understand what our soldiers do. There is a way to say this that is respectful and mention that as well. And he blew it off entirely.
Absolutely. I mean, this is when he went on his tirade. Listen, bottom line is this right here. That guy is just as worse as his boss. He has no credibility. He's a flat-out liar. I'm glad that the media went back and did their due diligence and found the tape.
Right.
I mean, the Congresswoman was heaping praise on – that cannot be shouted enough. And I clicked in on ABC, NBC, and CBS, all their evening news the night that story broke. And thank God that each and every last one of those, they led in pretty much on calling Kelly a liar. So right now, his credibility is shot.
Yeah.
He's sitting up there talking about how all these things are sacred. When his boss, do he know what the hell he works for?
Right.
And, that's
Women were sacred.
Answer that. Yes.
Gold Star families were sacred before the convention. And that means he's blaming the family. He's blaming the Khans for what happened.
This guy, let me tell you something, man.
We're up against break, but go ahead, real quick.
I smell it a mile away, man.
Yep.
And this Kelly guy is exactly what I think he is. Him and his boss is.
Yep.
Both of them. They're deplorable. They're awful human beings.
There you go. We got to take a break.
Make me do this fun as a political football.
I hear you.
He says nothing about that. That lets me know all I need to know about the character of Kelly.
Bingo. Thanks so much, Carl. Appreciate it. We're going to take a break. It's the House Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide. More of your calls after this, 773-763-9278.
Listen to the Norman Goldman Show.
You can do the Brian Johnson heat. You just squeeze it. He never sang loud at all.
No,
that's why he went
quiet.
deaf.
He was super quiet, and but have you ever seen any of the concerts from '81?
Oh yeah,
when they were touring, he's like,
yeah,
screaming with everything he has. He's really energetic.
Oh yeah,
I think they found the cocaine before they went on stage, which everybody did back then.
Yeah, right.
It was a big party, but oh my God, there's a show from Japan where he's like wearing a weird OSU football jersey, and the crowd's disarmingly close, and he's bouncing around like nothing I've ever seen since. It's really fun. Oh, and his hat's gone. He's just got this big curly hair.
Wow.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, well, now you have to research them now. You have to do
I've watched
everything,
all
right?
Now,
yeah. I'm trying to find there's a I'm trying to find the older story about General Kelly that I tweeted a while back. Here, I'm putting you in there. Hold on one second. I'm transitioning to. There's Johnny. Everybody say hi to Johnny Million.
Hi. Where am I now?
You're.
Oh.
Yeah, you got a camera right on you.
Hi.
You can tilt it down a little bit.
Oh, it's just
it
me.
makes you look. Yeah, it's just you. So I'm gonna use the head. Yeah, you can tilt it down a little bit like that. There you go. I think that'll do it. Nope. Now you've taken off the top of your head. We can't do that. That's just not right. It's just not cricket. Yeah, perfect. That'll be all right, I think, in general. Yep. Yeah, all right. Don't just stare, talk. I can hear you. How much time do we have?
6 minutes.
Okay, good.
6 minutes.
Be right back.
That means that's enough time for Hal to take it down. Yes, I hope he heard me.
Huh?
I was just talking to the camera.
Oh.
Saying that it was enough time for Hal to take it down. Yeah, and if you're saying anything to me right now in the chatter, I can't see it. I have no idea. I'm going to look, though.
I got
I can't see.
On my Facebook Live and WCPT Facebook Live.
All
I
right.
got it right.
That's awesome. I'm going to look up.
I just can't see. Believe me,
I have no idea how Lady B does the show without her glasses. It's friggin' amazing.
I left it on the top of the TV, so when I walk out, I grab it, and I didn't.
That's
I
live
swear
chat.
I did.
What'd you do?
I left my glasses right on top of the TV, so when I walk out, I'll grab it, and I didn't.
Lady B, people want to see you.
Yeah.
Oh, she just ducked. There are no cameras pointing at her, and she just ducked. I'm Rick Sanchez all of a sudden.
What?
Rick and Morty.
Oh, right. Yes, the cartoon.
The way that guy can talk and burp at the same time is miraculous.
Yeah.
And the same guy does Rick and Morty.
Wow.
It's
the same guy did Beavis and Butthead.
That's right. That's right. And don't let all the yucky fans sour you on that show. I think you would really like it.
What, Rick and Morty?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I don't care what fans like. I don't like stuff because other people like it.
Yeah, true.
Or hate stuff because other people hate it.
True. Well, there's just been a lot of noise about, I think some of the fans, they have female writers on the show now, and the fans, dox the female writers because they're just assholes.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
But, what's the guy's name? The guy who did,
I don't know.
Community.
Uh-huh.
Rick. No. Dave.
I don't know who you're talking about.
He's one of the co-creators of the show. The guy who created Community said, when you make a really good show that everybody likes, a lot of bad people are going to like it too.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
How horrible is that?
It's true.
Yeah.
Hey, when we had, on little-known story, but when there were gay people.
People are saying Rick and Morty is great.
Yeah, there were gay men who thought there should be no women on Queer as Folk at all.
Really?
Not just in the cast, but no staff, no.
Really?
And I mean, they were, you know, and it was interesting
because going towards the same.
Yeah. Whoops. Oh, hi. How are you?
That's your phone?
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
He has original Queen on his for a cell phone.
Yeah.
Who's calling
you? My publicist, but I'm like, can't talk now. I'm on the radio.
1 minute.
My publicist never calls me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, someone saw your stand-up last night?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, TLK Knitted came. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was great to see her there.
Oh, Lady B, sometimes people see you on camera during the family meeting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you're too good for this show?
Dun, dun, dun.
No.
We'll turn his camera around in a minute and say hi. End of the show. That'll be part of the happy ending.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do that.
Because you need to turn the camera off of me during the happy ending.
Well, especially if you're just going to do this. You're going to Weird Al the camera the entire time.
You see that Weird Al and Emo Phillips are touring together?
Yes.
That's so good. Do you follow Emo on Twitter?
No.
He's made for Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Just those crazy one-liners.
Yeah.
I didn't like Emo until, like...
House Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
I've had people walk out of me before, but not when I was being so charming.
Video streaming at housesparks.com.
Well, I don't care for you or for the putrid sludge you're troweling out.
Damn pus-faced little pimp stick.
True progressive talk.
Might be a good time for you guys to give up.
Welcome back to the show.
There's a note here I forgot to tell you.
Oh, there is?
David from Chicago wanted to let Hal know that Nathan from Mercy for Animals is in town.
Oh, that's awesome. In Chicago?
I'm guessing.
Oh, that's terrific. Well, that's
so that can't be the same Nathan from Nathan's Hot Dogs because there's no Mercy for Animals there.
That's true. That's the antithesis of that. That's awesome. I've done a lot of events with Mercy for Animals. They do terrific work. They're one of the they're behind a lot of the fighting the gag rules so that they can film what happens in slaughterhouses because and
you know what turned me vegetarian?
What?
Akcha.
Akcha?
Yeah, it's this Netflix movie. If you think that you could be a vegetarian, because I eat mostly vegetarian with my wife, and I watched Akcha, and it's about a Korean fictional super pig. And it took a fake animal in a slaughterhouse to make me realize what was going on. I mean, I knew what was going on.
Charlotte's Web, man. That did it for a lot of people too.
Yeah.
And it was we're humans, we operate very well in allegory. We've been doing it for millennia, which is why I don't understand why other people can't get it together and get their story straight. All right. Let's take another call.
Oh, yeah. We got Robert from Florida on line 3.
Right on.
Kelly Talk.
Hey, hello, gentlemen. How are you guys?
Hi.
Doing good.
Good to hear from you.
Carl from Nashville. Carl took my thoughts.
Sure.
How about on Kelly? You know, he's been coined. He's been the guy positioned to be the babysitter.
Yeah.
Now, who's watching the babysitter?
Right.
You know? I mean, this guy just proved himself to be in cahoots. And you asked the question. Was this designed? And yet, absolutely, it was, because those thoughts don't fall out of your mouth without thought. I mean, he purposely tried to slander her because he figured that would, that's what Trump wants me to do, and I'll do it.
That's right.
He had notes. He took notes. He's just evil. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, specifically, there were 2 points that really bugged me about it. Beyond just the abject lie of it, which was this idea that she stood up, said this stuff, and sat back down, and we were all stunned, as if she interrupted the proceeding. That was clearly part of what he wanted you to assume.
Yeah, like, why did she do that?
Yeah, why would she dare? And he didn't fill in the gaps. He didn't say she gave a speech at this thing where she patted herself on the back. He didn't say that. He said she stood up, she said this, and she sat back down, and we were all stunned, as if she interrupted. That was clearly part of his twist of the narrative. He wanted to paint a picture in the minds of Trump supporters and people who were, backing the president and the president himself, because audience of one being what it is with most of these people. And then the other part was, his idea that, that Comey gave this rousing speech where he thanked everyone, but she got up there and insulted the family and the children and the survivors of this gun battle When if you listen to the speech, it's exactly what Comey said. They basically, and by the way, almost every politician in that circumstance is going to go there because it's the proper thing to do. Whether you're doing it,
That crowd had both Republican and Democrat Congress people slapping each other on the back.
That's right.
It was actually it was refreshing to see something like that.
I know. She thanked Boehner. She credited Boehner for making a miracle happen in the House. For God's sake, I think. Hal, I'm sorry, but I think a lot of it is that he wears the 4 stars and he figures that he's never going to be questioned. I could just put it out there as fact, and you can't. Well, if Sarah Huckabee Sanders has her way, we won't be able to.
Right. Here's one last thing about these 4 soldiers.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. I'm sorry these things happen, but we had all these Benghazi investigations, 13, 14, 50, and we all found one answer to be true, that they didn't have a backup ready for them.
Mm-hmm.
How, if we learned anything from 13 investigations, where was the backup for these 4?
Right.
I mean, how does this happen again? I mean, this in a way is another Benghazi.
Well, if you recall, by the way, when Hillary Clinton was questioned, one of the big quotes they take, from her is, "What does it matter?" She said that, right? The reason she says that is she goes, "What does it matter? We need to learn from this."
Right.
If we weren't ready for something like this, we damn well better get ready. If we're going to have soldiers like this in harm's way, and it's going to happen under the radar, we're going to have CIA guys and SEALs and Green Berets in these small pockets in these circumstances, we better have a fallback, and we better have a plan that's contingent to protect them. That was her entire point for yelling that. What difference does it make? Right.
Does it make? Right.
That's
hey,
right.
Hal, I let other callers call in. I appreciate you letting me talk.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
yeah.
Robert.
Thanks for calling in. Let's grab another caller. Yeah, we have time.
Chicago Joe on line 4.
Right on. Hey, Chicago Joe.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to add in some contextual criticism of General Kelly.
Okay.
But first, I do think it's important to say I do have sincere sorrow for the loss that his family suffered for the loss of a son's life and severe injury to another in the military service. But that said, when Kelly agreed to work with Trump, who was a racist, sexist, tax cheat, pathological liar, he knew what he was signing up for.
Right.
For that White House.
To borrow a phrase, right.
But contextually, being a military leader, when his sons went into the service, he pretty much knew what they were getting into. But the average high school kid enlisted in the military does not have that same information, given the fact that the military is obsessed with controlling media access and waging conflicts in regions where it's not safe for media to go around and get information.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really clear what people do know these days when they are enlisting. Also Kelly being a leader, he was a leader of the worst or second worst military project this country ever undertook in the Middle East. And what did he do when Cheney and Rumsfeld insisted on starting these wars with an inadequately sized military that was ill-equipped? Was he objecting? Or did he let them try to resurrect themselves from the Vietnam purgatory with their swift mobile military plan that they wanted to enact?
Mm-hmm.
I really think it's time to look at what his role was during these policies when we set off. Really, just the consequences have been unimaginably horrible. When we read about the types of acts that people have committed upon one another in the Middle East during these conflicts, it rivals what we thought about the medieval times and the torture chambers.
Right.
It's just inhumane, and we're going to be suffering for decades.
Right.
As a result of the damage we've done to people in these regions as a result. And he had a chance to voice some opinion on this during its lead up and execution. And I think that there should be some examination of what types of positions he took during these times.
Absolutely. I mean, this is General Kelly in discussing, I guess, about how hard or easy it would be to take Baghdad, said with colorful language, Baghdad ain't crap. Like it will be no big deal. He was part of that. We'll be able to handle this very quickly, and it won't cost anything, and we'll be in and like it'll be a second round of the first Iraq War, which was only missed being an unmitigated disaster by a hair, simply because everybody in the country was going, knock it off.
Right.
There were people going, there's no reason for this, and Bush was running against Clinton. Saw this coming, down the pike, and was trying to mitigate the damage done from that part. So I completely agree. I mean, I think there's. Of course we have to question generals. Of course their opinion is not the top opinion in the world. It is, it is an important part of the conversation, of course, especially on a tactical level. But they can be wrong, and they can certainly be ideological in their decision-making to such an extreme that they create more problems than they solve, just like any other person in power can be. There's nothing magical about being a general. It just means you've earned it's like being a doctor. Doctors poison people all the time. Nurses and doctors give the wrong medications to people, and those people die. It doesn't mean being a doctor suddenly loses its importance in our society if we question one who makes repeated mistakes. And that's where we are with General Kelly. Not only is this guy lying about a representative who's been a public servant longer than he has, insofar as office, we're not talking about military career, but as a politician. But we're also saying this is a guy who supports Trump, who backs him, who says women used to be sacred. Before you started working and supporting that guy, right? Yeah. And Gold Star families were sacred up till the convention. When Trump attacked them,
right.
The fact that they pushed back and said...
They were sacred until your boss.
Yeah, until your boss, like everything. He's like, well, we pretty much ruined all that. Doesn't matter. Soldiers' lives used to matter. Can we at least salvage that? And you're like, oh, you mean back when he said, oh, it was the generals who lost that one? Yeah. So I appreciate the call. Let's take a break. We're way over that. We floated way over. Yeah. So awesome call. We'll be back with more calls after this. 773-763-9278. And thank you, by the way, to everybody in the super chat in our in the chat room today. Julie
the most
and Billy.
Viewers ever.
Huh? Yeah.
They said like 194.
Yeah, we got 194 people in there right now, just chatting away and having a good, great conversation. So feel free to join, like, and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Just go to houseparks.tv.
I am the one who would dance on the floor and around.
I have this.
I'm Ellen Miller, co-host
Michael
of Out
Jackson's
Chicago,
vocal coach
and this is a WCPT Civil Rights Snapshot. On July 2nd, 1951, Sylvia Rivera was born Ray Rivera in New York City. An early, self-described and proud drag queen, Ms. Rivera had a tough childhood by anyone's standards. Dark skin from her Venezuelan and Puerto Rican heritage, a wildly dysfunctional family, and acting effeminate all contributed to young Sylvia's troubled life. Ms. Rivera left home at age 11.
Oh, yeah.
She had already been involved in sex work, hustling with her uncle. As a queer Latina, Sylvia Rivera fought for the inclusion of transgender people, drag queens, and homeless queer youth who were marginalized in an often violently homophobic society. Sylvia Rivera passed away in 2002, but her pioneering work and legacy of fierce advocacy lives on. You can learn more about this audacious activist at outhistory.org.
Still hearing commercial audio. I'm sorry about that.
Please stay vigilant about our civil rights.
Oh, yeah, sorry. That was supposed to be muted. My apologies. Sorry about that. Sorry, I fixed it.
Oh, your shoes are awesome.
Oh, thanks. They're very spacey. Yeah.
They're spicy?
I said they're spacey.
Spacey. I guess they are a little spacey.
Yeah, I like them for that reason. I wear them on stage. I'm wearing what I wore on stage last night because I basically napped in my hotel room and then drove an hour and a half to Baltimore to fly out because there's no airport in Hagerstown. So, yeah. So I literally...
So what time did you leave your hotel?
Last night?
Or this morning?
2:30, 2:15, 2:15.
And your flight was what? 5?
5:30.
Eastern.
Yeah.
Just 4:30 here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So when do you get to sleep? Can you sleep on planes?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, conk right out. I can sleep anywhere if I need to. I slept in the airport this morning before coming here because nobody would be here. So I was like, how do I handle this? Do I because there's a bunch of ways I can do it, you know, and I was like, well, it's like I'm between planes. I'll just lay down on a bench. I'm out, and I set an alarm.
Awesome.
And here's my trick. Take your alarm, set it on vibrate and sound.
Yeah.
Zip it up inside your jacket on your chest.
I'll scare the piss out of you.
Yeah. You won't miss it.
Wow. 10.
We got Steve. Ready for the Steve show?
I'm Dick Kay from Back on the Beat, and here is the mega worldwide radio program with Hal Sparks.
You know, he's part of the original recording of Billie Jean.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, I hate that they take his voice out every time. I'm glad.
Kay?
Yeah, his intro to our show that's been in the song since its inception. It worked so well with Vincent Price. They were like, let's get Dick Kay to do a voiceover.
It is so surreal for me to see Dick Kay every time I'm here.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
well, I mean, you grew up with him too.
Yeah, absolutely. He follows us right after the show, so please stick around and listen on WCPT or on the the website. You can go through there. You can listen to it on the
Chicago Progressive Talk.
Yeah, chicagosprogressivetalk.com. WCPT820.com also works pretty easy. These days, that's the best way to kind of just make sure you've got the signal everywhere. Just plug it into your car if that's the way to go.
I listen on the TuneIn app.
Yeah. It's very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
There, or you could do it in the chat room like all the cool people are doing right now. That's right. Oh, look at that. Hal Vickery in our chat room gave $20 on the super chat. That's awesome. That helps pay for gear and all that stuff because the amount of stuff I've had to buy to keep this.
You should see this stuff.
The amount of wires and cables and splitters and.
You need more duct tape.
Oh, good Lord.
Do you have tape on that?
Huh?
On your headphones, or is that just
no?
black
It's
and
just
white?
the style.
Oh, okay. He's so stylish.
It's the microphone. So it's just so you can tell it apart from the wire.
Yeah.
So it was this idea that that Kelly and some of the callers have talked about this is the Trump whisperer. You know, that he'll figure out how to keep this guy in line. And after the Rocket Man line at the UN, where it was like that moment in Naked Gun where everybody does the forehead slap at the same time, just General Kelly's.
Who were all the pictures of? Was it Kelly or was it?
Yeah, that was General Kelly, just rubbing his face in his hands, and you're like,
he's
dude,
over it, I guess.
That's the job you took on. Get at it. I do not understand. Oh, thank you, TLK Knitting. We got another super chatter in there. That's awesome. The idea, though, that someone's going to rein this guy in, I mean, that story should have died during the campaign the last 3 times. People were like, this is the turning point.
It was perpetuated on Morning Joe.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah.
These pajama phone calls that they would let him, call in. That's not you.
They're trying to make up for that with the last 4 months.
Oh, yeah.
They are on the opposite side now.
Well, that's
a little too late.
Which is a little bit like they're seeing how well Rachel's ratings are.
Yeah.
And going, well, actually, there's some anti-Trump money that we might be passing by in this. But I also think it's because they're now in a relationship, and she's not having it. Mika, kind of all along, has been this don't you make him seem okay.
Right.
So, anyways, let's take another caller because we're almost full lines.
Who's ready for the Steve from the Gold Coast show?
That's right, Steve from the Gold Coast.
Here he comes. Steve from the Gold Coast.
Steve from the Gold Coast.
Okay, let's put a pin in that introduction and we'll see what else we can come up with.
Oh, your connection is awesome, Steve.
It is, yeah.
Good, great.
Normally you call us with the top down, cruising down LSD.
Yeah.
Well, I admit I multitask when I call.
That's Lakeshore Drive to anybody listening across the country or whatever. It doesn't.
No, Steve is on acid.
Right.
But a couple of points. The people have already pretty much said what I was going to say. One, when you stand up there representing an administration as Huckabee does, and say, it's not our place to question generals. That's usually the sort of thing in other countries that precedes lists being made up and people being picked up.
Yes.
And so if nothing else, these people have demonstrated once again that they have no historical perspective, that they have no institutional memory, that they just don't understand what this country is and what it is not. So you just don't say those sorts of things in a constitutional republic, the oldest constitutional republic on earth, because there's a reason we survived this long.
That's right.
Without a banana republic, and why there isn't some general standing in front of the White House shooting off a gun in the air after a revolution.
Right.
We don't do that sort of thing.
Yeah, but if Roy Moore had his way, right.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, despite whatever you may think, whatever side you were on in 2000, when finally we had a resolution, we didn't have anarchy in the streets. George Bush took office. I don't agree he should have taken office, but I wasn't about to go out and shoot people who disagreed with me.
Right.
No, I rooted for him.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. There you go. But and secondly, is anybody surprised? I mean, this is with regard to what the contention is about what Donald Trump said to this widow. I mean, it would be one thing had the accusation been leveled at, say, Barack Obama, and but you say, well, come on, that doesn't sound like Barack Obama. I mean, come on, that doesn't sound like him at all. But this is exactly in line with everything that Donald Trump has ever done.
Right.
In terms of his not being familiar with people. I mean, he didn't know this man's name quite obviously. Somebody, connected this phone call and says, yes, we have the widow on the line. And, your guy, I mean, that's it. He knew what he was getting into. I mean, there are things you say, things you don't say. But again, he can't even get through something as simple as a condolence call, from the White House. And again,
he can't even do something as simple as write a $25,000 check to somebody that he promised it to.
Right, and as you pointed out, both of you, this is 2017. Everything is on record somewhere. Yep. Stop saying things that are objectively false and can be proven to be objectively false.
Unless you think that yelling fake news immediately following that will solve the problem.
And
apparently it does for 33% of the people.
Right. For about 25, 30% of people out there, they actually don't have any interest in mainstream media. They think everyone's lying to them, and they're looking to this alternative nonsense. So yeah, to that extent, you're right. And lastly, I agree that there are places where, let's not sort of paint with too broad a brush. And this notion that, the American military is involved in too many places, you can make an argument for that. But there are places where we should have been involved. As you pointed out, Rwanda, the former Yugoslavia earlier on. Had we decided to have a small military presence and actually help to build infrastructure in Afghanistan, we might have avoided, a sanctuary that would play somewhere where Al Qaeda would have been able to hide and do business. So, there are places where we belong. And in terms of military spending, no, we don't need more aircraft carriers. We don't need the next generation fighter because that's not the kind of wars we're fighting in the future. But we could use better equipped, better informed men in the field who have better intelligence. That sort of thing is perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with necessarily being in a place like Niger. Right. I mean, in places like Uganda, over a course of 15 years, recently lost over 5 million people in their conflicts, internal conflicts, about this sort of thing. It's the new Rwanda that nobody talks about. And George Clooney, his big thing is Sudan. And you can go through a long list of places that nobody cares about because we're not talking about them. Because our focus is international terrorism.
Or we already have the oil rights secured through multinationals like ExxonMobil and the like is going down in Chad right now. And Rachel did this report going, is it possible that one of the reasons we didn't have enough support for these soldiers is because the Chad military support that we had before left just recently? And HuffPost jumped down her throat for even making the suggestion, going, "This you could dissuade this with one phone call." Like, no, you couldn't. You could get an alternate viewpoint with one phone call, but it doesn't undermine the theory that she's presenting. And it's considering the track record of this president, it's a completely reasonable theory. And so, yeah, I hear you, and I think you and I agree on the idea that America does have a place, both militarily and politically, in thriving democracies and protecting people who are in war zones, impoverished, Rwanda being an example of that. We have a responsibility, I think, when those kind of things come up to at least help as much as we can. I think it's better when we do it as part of a NATO or UN force. And oftentimes we just don't talk about it. And Obama probably was a lot more comfortable being part of a group effort
than Trump is. Trump wants to make it look like he's responsible for every win, and every loss that happened is somebody else's problem. He gives himself a 10 on Puerto Rico.
It's a nice pathology if you can get it.
Jesus, it must be so comfortable. Like, he must sleep like a baby.
He must.
Crying all night long and pooping his diaper. Is
that a Stephen Wright joke?
No, I think it's just been around for a very long time. It's too much. It's too active for Stephen Wright. Thanks for the call, Steve. We're up against the middle break. Great points all around. Thanks. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Comedy nerd, it's your joke.
Mm-hmm. Way to go, man.
Gosh darn it. I hope that went out over the air.
What? Now you're on the chat. No, there's no moment of freedom. You are always on some.
She's playing I Want to Break Free because of your phone ring.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you know why I put that on there? Did you see the new Sherlocks?
I haven't seen any of those.
What?
The wife doesn't like the Cumberbatch.
Oh, interesting.
She's like, I don't see what the big deal is. I'm like, you don't think he's hot?
Well, you know.
I like something about his face bothers her. You know, it's just one of those things.
His wee beady eyes. Like, oh, eat my chicken. Right.
But she liked him in Imitation Game. And I loved him in that Star Trek movie.
Oh, yeah.
As
Khan.
Young Khan.
Yeah.
I think that was like the first time
dude, you guys would both, if she liked him in Imitation Game and you liked him in that, you'll both like Sherlock. It'll be the time where she goes, oh, I see, I get it now.
All right, I'll have to give it a try.
It's the best example of him doing his thing. And it gets deeper as it goes along because he's effectively like Sherlock with Asperger's, essentially. He just doesn't give a crap about people.
We dig...
Yeah.
Fuck, what's the name of that? The show with Johnny Lee Miller.
I don't know.
And Lucy Liu.
Oh, Elementary. Right.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was a missed opportunity. I personally would have liked her to been Holmes.
Yeah.
And a British guy being Watson, working with this woman whose last name happens to be Holmes, either adopted or, you know, because Lucy Liu could still play it, or just she was married and her husband died, whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
keep the name.
Good.
Keep it, her name is...
Even still, though, I do like the heroin addict aspect of it. Just like, he's...
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that in
the actual stories?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's unreal.
Yeah. Well, opium was a big deal. It was
yeah, and like the absolute smartest people in the world, if they can't handle it, they gotta quiet that crap down.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Right. So I enjoy. I have all the Sherlocks on iTunes, and I've watched them repeatedly.
Okay.
I like them. But the villain on there you'll love, Moriarty.
It's a good Moriarty.
Oh, it's a good Moriarty. And there's it won't ruin it for you.
Do I know who plays Moriarty?
No, you do not.
Okay.
But at one point, there's this helicopter that lands on this island, and this and you just hear "I want to break free," the doom 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 doom, and this guy walks off like that, and it's Moriarty, and he just goes like just like does the pose, yeah, like this, and he's got his headphones in, whatever, and then after a second he pulls out his headphones and you're jump 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 jump. He's just listening to headphones because he don't want to hear the plane.
Wow.
And he's just an egomaniac. It's really great. I love it.
All right, making a note.
Yeah.
I will. You know what? Do you like Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Because I don't really watch it like as a thing, but I watched the first episode, which I love.
The very first movie.
Very first one, very beginning of the series.
You mean 28 Days Later, the series?
Right, exactly. And I thought that was amazing. Then the second episode.
Thanks, Natalie.
Second episode, I was like, oh, it's just soap opera.
Oh yeah. Well, I love Steven Yeun, the Asian actor who was on there for, you won't see him in is he in the first episode? He's in like the third episode.
Yeah, I didn't see him.
He's so good.
Is he?
He's terrific. And became my favorite character on the show, and really smart, good quality actor. Emotionally terrific.
All this stuff with like the flowers dying in the hospital and stuff while he was sick, and then like waking up and figuring out
what happened.
Happened. To me, that's like one of the best zombie movies I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was amazing. And then like all the locked doors.
You watch it on Netflix and skip season 2. Watch the first 2 episodes of season 2 and the last 2 episodes of season 2.
Season 2
it all takes place in a house because they don't have any money. So they're at this. They call it Hilltop. Yeah.
But all of season 1.
Season 1's great.
Okay.
Now back to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide, 773-763-9278.
Yeah, that's my. We were discussing during the break that's my ringtone because of the Sherlock series, and anybody who watches the Sherlock
and
series
I've got to
will
make
get
a
that.
note to watch it.
It's
My wife doesn't like the Cumberbatch.
She's got a Cumberbatch issue. She's got
does.
a Benedict I mean, nobody looks more like Basil Rathbone these days than Benedict Cumberbatch, and it's
name.
such a British name.
Was his name like Tim Miller, and he
No.
changed it to that?
No. There's a lot of Brits walking around with big convoluted names like that, bless their hearts.
Convoluted names.
Little Engelbert Humperdinck's walking around. Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch and Engelbert Humperdinck together again. And we've run out of letters.
My typewriter is now broken.
Yeah. They only do one show, and it's on Zizix in outside of Vegas. ZZY, ZZX.
So, are we going to do another call, or are we going to talk more? What do you want to do?
Well, we have a bunch of callers.
We do.
So let's grab some, because I'm here, and it works, and it's good, and the callers are wonderful, and I love talking to them, so let's grab one.
And I really want to talk to somebody named Mo. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. I do know it's a Mo.
All right.
It's online.
Hey, Mo.
There's Maureen's who are called Mo.
That's true.
Right, yeah.
Mo Gaffney.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't even think of that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Mo.
Listen, it's tragically true that General Kelly has been correct in his assumption that most Americans are too illogical or inattentive to realize that he has just virtually confessed to being far better at slandering American citizens than leading them in battle. That's number one.
Wow.
And here's how we can fight back. Can you give me 2 minutes to outline the strategy?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Number one, I'm going to write to Congresswoman Wilson and suggest that she sue General Kelly for slander and proclaim that she will not only match the money that she gets from him, I hope it's a lot, but that
or sue for $1.
She will ask people around the country to contribute all this money, and she will contribute all of it to helping disabled veterans, and they will stick it to General, what's his name? And then the next thing, we have to gently inform the families of the fallen veterans that General Kelly has just violated the most basic American principles of truth and all men being created equal. And then finally, we need a national truth commission to ride herd on these lying politicians. I had more respect. I think I still have more respect for at least some generals and politicians, but the problem there is worse. And a national truth commission could be seen as a fair organization if it were elected by proportional representation. So if 10% of the country are Nazis, they get the representation. And if 10% of the country are communists or vegetarians, whatever they are, so the whole country will be represented, and they can appoint a commission that everybody can respect, and guys like, and they can throw guys like General Kelly, who use the public funds and the public's trust to malign American citizens and American ideals, and I hope they can throw him under the jail.
Right. Well, I like the first plan a lot. I do think there's something to her, filing, a slander or libel charge against him, because Trump is always threatening people with that, and he never follows through.
Yeah.
He doesn't suit anybody.
But I do think that she should sue for $1. Sue just to win.
Sue for $1.
Sue for $1.
Yeah.
And and what
do you think what's the advantage of that?
Well, because you're not taking money out of his wife's mouth for something he did. You're not doing anything about the family.
I think she should. No.
No, but what I'm saying is, you never make it about anybody else.
sue for $10 million and promise to give $1 million to the wife.
He doesn't have any. He doesn't have that kind of money. It's if you're suing Trump, you go in for all. You go all in. Yeah, if you sue Trump, go for every dime you can get. If you're suing a member of the military like General Kelly, you go. This is about honor. $1. It's just about and all you have to do is you pay $1 and you admit you lied. And that is the beginning of your truth commission. And we call it the dollar commission. And the idea is that your word is your bond. Put your money where your mouth is, and either you're telling the truth or shut up. And I think insofar as the Truth Commission, there was a PolitiFact has actually been doing like little tours through the South and meeting people from the South and going, why don't you believe us when we show you a fact? Right. Explain to us what the problem is. Nice. Because we're telling you this is true. And if we sit with you for a minute and show you it's true, you seem to be okay with it. So where's the hitch point? Right. Why is it that you read PolitiFact and don't think we're telling you the truth? What slant do you think exists there? And they're doing this kind of listening tour about it, and I think that's very smart.
That is. Are they nonprofit PolitiFact?
Speaking of the facts, you're one of the best analysts on radio in analyzing them, and I thank you for this time. Thanks.
Absolutely. I appreciate the call. And we held back
friends, Eeny, Meeny, and Miny.
Oh, really? I was going to say Larry, Moe, and Curly. Larry and Curly and Shemp.
You're going to throw Moe in there, too?
Hey, Moe.
And Joe.
Larry G. Oh, yeah, and
Curly
Joe. Curly Joe. No. I'm a pure Curly. Even Shemp. Like, I appreciate the man. Good for you. But Curly was money.
What about the good-looking Marx brother?
Oh,
Zeppo?
Zeppo, yeah. Yeah, he was handsome. He was the guy, he was the singer. He was the one, basically, they would do, like, serious songs or whatever. It's so they could have the entire package in one movie. Yeah. So they didn't have to hire another dude who wasn't a family member to play the good-looking guy. The love interest in the story, You can only go so far with, like, Groucho just being a masher with everyone he meets, and Harpo incessantly just kind of scaring women off with, like...
Yeah, it's not cute. If you look at it through today's eyes, it's like, it's quick groping. That's just, that's very rapey, Harpo.
Right. Well, the idea was that she's running from him, and he's playing a character of somebody like that. So, yeah, there's a certain point where, like, we get really uptight about people playing characters that are bad. And, I blame, to get on a rant for 1 second, all these stupid shows where they're making good guys likable. Narco, Sopranos.
Good guys likable?
Make bad guys likable, sorry. Yeah. Good Narco, Goodfellas, movies like Goodfellas and Godfather, Breaking Bad, Negan on The Walking Dead. This idea that like Kylo Ren is just misunderstood, and Darth Vader still has some good in him if you just look hard enough. And like, are you out of your mind? He blew up a whole planet of men, women, children, babies. Every animal on that planet died. Yeah. He's a genocidal maniac. He's Goebbels. Stop trying to make me feel sorry for him. I'm not doing it.
Every animal on that planet.
It was. Like, if that's what your thing is, well, people have it coming, but the poor dolphins, if that's your thing, why do you go like, well, it's Darth Vader, when he was dragging him off the thing and he was going, Dad, I still think you're a good guy. Why? Why? You slice my mentor in half, kill everybody I know, blow up a planet of my entire sister's adopted family, and you know what? You're just misunderstood. Maybe it's the mask coming. Maybe it's that you've been black all this time, and now that you're white, I'm okay.
That's right.
But I'm kind of sick to death of there's two storylines that have been played to death. One is the charming, super intelligent serial killer, or villain, because he's so, the Anthony Hopkins as
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, right. They're so smart. Yeah. They've figured, they've thought of everything. Yeah. Like, no, they haven't. Most of them are idiots. A lot of them are just violent psychopaths, and they get caught fairly easily because they're egomaniacs. Right. And how about that? How about just that?
Yeah, which is actually what I like about Rick and Morty, because he is a narcissist nihilist, and he is not likable.
Right. That's the point.
Yeah.
Don't spend all your time making them because I'm not buying it. I'm not going along with that ever again.
Right.
And don't get me started on them casting Kylo Ren to look like one of the Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, the Boston bomber who's on the cover of Rolling Stone.
Oh, you think so?
Of course. Look at him. Look at the casting.
I just thought it was because he was in Girls.
No, but does he look like Carrie Fisher or Harrison Ford at all?
No.
Come on. He looks like Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. That's why, and he's doing a fine job as an actor. It's not about him. It's a casting choice. But the idea is, what has happened to our sons that's turned them into monsters? That's the storyline they're going for. It's patricide incorporated.
Yeah.
Again, this is a rant you and I. This is a whole podcast we need to do. But the point is, if Narco, all those shows, I'm not buying it. I'm not interested. Sorry.
Bad guys are bad.
Yeah, life is hard enough. It's hard enough just good guys being good that I have to go like bad guys all the time. Forget it. Sorry. I'm against the death penalty. That's as far as I go. I am. I'm against the death penalty. I'm certainly not going to start liking, you know what? Sure, he put 6 school children in a blender. But I think it was because he didn't get a participation ribbon.
I have the unpopular opinion of not enjoying Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I made it like 2 or 3 episodes into season 2, and I told my wife, I can't watch the entire cast make bad decisions.
Right.
They all make the wrong decision for every situation.
All the time.
Every time. So if it's that
Walking Dead, there's a lot of that, too.
Yeah.
There's a series of bad decisions in the face of a zombie horde.
Right.
Like, what's the dumbest thing we could do today? Well, we could try to kill the only other 6 human beings we've seen.
And I spend a lot of time trying to not make my knee-jerk self-serving decision.
Yeah.
And try to, like, make
be a good person.
Be a good person.
Right.
And I was not entertained by it. It made me very anxious.
Yeah.
And I was pleased to see that my sister-in-law felt the exact same way.
Yeah.
And we looked at each other and said, bad decisions. And I was like, yes, thank you, thank God.
Well, and there is a thin line between the elevation of those storylines over the last few years and why we have Trump in the office, because we've all kind of normalized that, the likable villain. Heroes are boring. Heroes are unimportant, and most of them are going to lie anyways, because half the CIA is full of moles from every movie I've ever seen. And there's always a cop on the force who's bad. But somehow, man, that villain who keeps beating people to death with a bat is so charming.
Yeah. He's got the whole system figured out.
Yep. I wish I had his skills.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, enough of that rant. We come back, we'll take a couple more calls and have a happy ending. Because, and I've got an idea for what the happy ending is going to be. We'll be back. And not just James giving us 20 in the super chat. Bless your heart, James. Thank you. I do still check.
Was called.
Oh, you've seen it? You've seen that guy?
Yeah, I've seen the pictures.
I noticed
it's so adorable.
He's so adorable. And they put him in like this metal pen, to like have the thing go in. And like, they're like, stop! Like they show one die and then like just get released and roll out. And I was like, fuck. And then like she manages to buy him back from.
It's Farm Sanctuary.
Yeah.
I work with Farm Sanctuary. Yeah.
Yay!
One more.
Yay!
Thank you.
We're taking pictures. And I never would have noticed it, but I think John Ronson is amazing.
And
he's the guy who does So You've Been Publicly Shamed, Men Who Stare at Goats.
Oh, yes.
That author.
Yes.
He wrote the screenplay with a Korean dude.
Oh, right on.
And so like the movie is very like half American, half. Oh, he also wrote The Psychopath Test.
Oh,
which is
I
recommend all of those. And if you dig audiobooks at all, hearing him read that stuff is amazing.
Wow, all right.
And he's also got a great podcast called The Butterfly Effect about how YouPorn and Pornhub like gutted the porn industry and at the same time desensitized people in porn and like messed with everybody's relationships.
Right. Well, there's an argument that
one more minute.
I did a podcast a little while ago for Film Threat, and one of the guys there was like wrote for like a porn critique site or something like that, and worked in it, whatever. And he said you can tell who's going to be president by what's currently trending,
And he goes, and they could tell everybody in porn knew that Obama was going to win because interracial porn was spiking during the beginning of in 2008. You know, it was, and they were like, Trump's going to win. You know why they knew it? Incest porn.
Yep.
Incest porn was spiking, and so they like, you know. And I almost called you and told you to stop.
But it's not my sister, but it's kind of like my sister.
Right. But yeah, it was spiking.
It's my stepdaughter. Isn't
right.
that different?
Oh, yeah. Right. Sorry. That was literally like they could tell.
That fantasy always bummed me out. Like there's nothing.
Welcome back to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide. It's now time for the happy ending.
It said, what is that? Quit it. All right, so let's take another. We got a couple more calls, so let's take a couple more calls early on in this so we can do it.
Chuck, you've waited an hour.
Wow. Hey, Chuck. Thank you for hanging in there.
Thanks for getting me on. The callers have been great.
Yes.
I want to sort of dovetail on some of what they've been saying and say that we need to start recognizing that we don't need military intervention in this country. Sarah Huckabee Sanders' unartful stupidity in admonishing us not to question four-star Marine generals should frighten the hell out of all of us because of where we're at right now with other things. Of Trump's power and military power is something that we're going to see again. Far right-wing lunatics, Breitbart, Limbaugh, they've already been saying a coup is underway.
Right.
And calling on the military to put down a coup is a probable next step and one that we should be alert to because it is by no means beyond what Trump could do. Kelly joining forces with Trump and all of us, I think, are showing great chagrin that this guy is actually as bad as him or worse and has no character.
Right.
He needs to be called out for what he did very, very loudly. I hope people who have Twitter, who have Facebook, will start memes here that Kelly lies using his dead son and dead soldiers' corpses as props to prop up another liar. Shameless. Kelly needs to be hit over and over and over again, that weird juxtaposition of icing corpses and defending a liar who brought all this on by his own lie is a sacrilege. It is a sacrilege to anyone who cares about the military dead. This cannot be forgotten. This needs to be amplified. His own kid?
Yeah.
And we all know, and this has worried me from the very beginning, that this bleep show that is the Trump presidency with turds flying so they include the sight of the other turds, that this is just yet another chapter. But say, for instance, Mueller has the courage to say what is known about what the Trump campaign did. Occam's razor.
Right.
It's already been proven there's conspiracy, and there's much, much more. Data analytics, it's all going to be there. It's up to Mueller. But once that happens, even if there is action taken, what is the degree to which he will use the military to interfere with this? We do not need, in a constitutional republic, to have the specter of military force before us. You would think that moderate Trump supporters, or those Trump supporters who believe, he won't do that. I mean, there has to be a point at which they're scared that something's going to happen that no one wants.
Well, I think
they've been setting up for this. They've been setting up for this, and people need to be alert that this could be next. Don't let this happen. Get on Twitter. Get on Facebook.
Yeah.
Kelly lies.
And also mock Trump mercilessly, because the man's main Achilles heel is his weak his weak ego and his desperate need for attention. And mockery is the one area that makes him screw up. When he responds, he does it very slapdash. He reveals a lot when he's upset that way. He makes easy mistakes. It is his weakness. It is his poker tell. And you must and don't get mad at him, because he likes when you get mad. Because when the right people are mad at you, the right thinks, oh well, I'm doing something right. The liberals are angry. They enjoy it. But if
pity them or mock them or lower their station, they fall apart. And it's a very important part of this. And I think you're right about, insofar as Kelly, it must be reinforced constantly that he is lying while protecting Trump's lies. I appreciate the call.
Using dead soldiers as props.
Right.
That's the point that's beyond the pale. And you must also mock all those small men and sycophants who have enabled Trump.
Yes, I agree. I appreciate the call. We're going to get one more caller in before the end of the show because we're running out of time. Really appreciate the call, and thanks for hanging in there, too.
We've got another person in the 1 hour club on line 8. Gregory, we apologize to Ivan and Nancy.
Yeah.
We won't get to you today.
Yeah. Hey, Gregory.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Hal.
Hi.
Listen, I'm fired up, man, because I'm so angry at the things that are happening in our country. But anyway, Hal, listen.
Yeah.
I've been listening to you for a lot of years. I have to say that you and your crew needs more hours, more days on
thank you.
WCPT. Hey, listen, brother, you are a humanitarian.
Thank you, sir.
And, hey, listen, intense political brain. But anyway, Hal.
Yes.
Kelly. Hey, never ever call him General again. I'm ashamed of him. I'm a veteran from the Vietnam era, period, okay? Right. Hey, listen, if he was a man, he should have went into the Oval Office, punched Trump, small t, capital R, small U-M-P.
Right.
He equals Diablo. Him and his cesspool with their open mouths of cohorts, okay?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, why would you do that to another human being? Patriot Miss Barbara Wilson. It's unthinkable. His ancestors in Ireland are shamed, and they're ashamed of him.
Right.
Anyway.
Totally true. I'm with you on this, and I will say that I do not advocate violence against the president by myself or anyone else. But I will say that but General Kelly seems like the type who would if he actually cared, and that's the problem I have. And I think what you're pointing out is that he's using the illusion of caring about this to give cover to a man who clearly is incapable of sympathizing with people in a realistic way, and thinks it's always about him. Like it's always, it's me. I have to make these calls now. Like a petulant teenager. It is as if we've elected Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
Kelly.
Hal.
Yes.
Let me just say this here. I don't advocate violence either.
Right.
But the guy. Kelly rarely spoke about his son. And, hey, listen, God bless his son. And all the veterans and anyone else that have given their lives for this country. But, hey, listen here.
You can't use him as cover.
That man not a man, to bring his son's name into his mess. Well, we know Trump is just not anything to be talked about.
Right.
But hey, listen here.
Yeah.
I want the American people, we the people, the government, to wake up and look at what's happening, because I saw it when he descended down that
his escalator, his descalator.
That escalator before he took the podium, you understand, to spew his hatred.
Right.
But anyway, Hal, like I said,
I appreciate you calling in. It's nice. This is the first time you've called in, isn't it? Yeah. So
yes, it is.
That's great.
Well, I've called Norman Goldman. That's my guy.
Well, yeah, Norman's a good dude, and I filled in for
Miller.
Yes, and I filled in for Norman and Stephanie at different points, and I appreciate your support, as do they. We've only got a couple minutes left, and I want to be able to do a happy ending because I'm here with Lady B. So thank you so much for calling in. We'll talk to you again. All right, and we are down to the last couple minutes of the show. Turn your camera around so she can say hi.
Just so we're going to turn the camera around for a second. Everybody in the chat room can say hi to Lady B.
Lady
there
B.
she is. Who's so wonderful and is finally got in touch with your cousin, or your sister rather, in Puerto Rico. Sending batteries down to her this week. She doesn't want me to contribute, but I'm going to anyways. I don't care. But we're so happy for you, and we just found that out, and then you walk in, and here I am visiting, and Johnny's in studio. So it's a really nice little home week for all of us, and I can't tell you how happy I am to see you and how much I adore you and how great it is to work with you every week, and doing it from far away takes something away from being, it's really awesome being in the room with both of you guys. So I just wanted to say that because you're lovely.
Aww.
Yeah. And Johnny Million, always amazing. Put the camera back where it belongs. Don't do that to the people. That's just wrong. Hi. Hello. And the same thing goes with Johnny Million.
I just saw myself on the YouTube.
Yeah, it's good. And thanks to everybody in the chat room for contributing in the super chat. Love you guys so much. I've got to bail out of here because Decay is coming in right after this. But I will have an extended one next week when I'm back in the homestead. And you guys are terrific. Have a great week. I'm sure it will be as insane as this one was. Just hold it together. Use your best tools, which is be witty, be smart, be funny, and stick to the facts. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Hi, this is Bill Press. When you get to work, don't leave us in the car. Stream us live at WCPT820.com and listen all day because facts matter.
An FBI to be opened, but added the move is subject to the receipt of further information. The documents could provide
Bye to
some
the chat
answers
room
to
real
a
quick.
number of lingering
He's
matters,
loud.
including
Bye, chat room. We got to bail out of here so I can get out of the way. So